Hi, I'm Lisa,
And I'm Natasha.
and we were wondering.
Are you free for coffee?
Welcome, welcome.
Hey guys.
So we're going to approach a kind of heavy topic today. As you guys know, the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, which is the right to have an abortion or terminate a pregnancy or have autonomy over your reproductive lives. So we just want to talk about it a little bit, unpack it a little bit. Some of y'all, like for me, I'm past that. Like I can't get pregnant. I've gone through menopause and stuff, and you kind of, that doesn't affect me. But it does. It affects your children, your grandchildren,
society,
your friends.
Yeah.
And let me clarify. Those of you who are pro-life, while I disagree with you in theory, I'm not mad at you. I mean, you have that right to believe that. I think because I'm older and I've lived a little bit, I am much more able to see gray. When I was younger, I was very black and white and really rigid, but I have lived long enough. Of course, the ideal is for every child to be conceived in love, to be wanted, to be brought into a loving home,
to be healthy,
to be nurtured, just have a idyllic life. That's what we all want. But this is not heaven. We're not in heaven yet. So I have lived long enough to know that is not always the case. There's all kinds of abuse. There are incestuous things. There's molestations. There's rapes. There are people living under horrific trauma and abuse that we can't even begin to imagine. There are babies that, because we live in a broken world, their little bodies and minds are not well and will never be well.
Yeah.
And will die.
Yes.
If they survive the birth, and a lot of them can't.
Right.
Or the mother experiences stillbirth. So because of that, I am pro-choice out of compassion.
Yes.
I feel like I just could not ask another woman to endure some of those things.
Yes, absolutely.
And that is where I am. And that you pro-lifers, I want to see your real work begin now.
Yeah.
I want to see you champion affordable childcare and universal pre-K, universal health care, living wages, housing help for people that are in this position.
And
can't either afford or whatever the situation concerning the pregnancy is. I want to see your help with that.
Right.
And instead of going on the other side.
Yeah. I want to remove that kind of blame and look the other way, which we're all guilty in some facet or some capacity, because I've heard so many people who have this idea of, well, then you shouldn't have got pregnant. And, if you've listened to us for any length of time, you know that I'm a do-gooder. Lisa has 2 children that are do-gooders. And my do-goodness, I work for the Department of Family and Protective Services. I work for Child Protective Services specifically. And I am here to tell you that I have so many cases that I've either had, inherited, worked on, whatever it may be. Believe me when I tell you, they did not choose to get pregnant. If
you're a woman and you've not, either you've had an oops pregnancy, or you were waiting with bated breath, hoping
that your cycle is going to start.
That you're going to start.
Right.
Now,
right.
I don't know a woman, married, unmarried, whatever your situation is, if you are sexually active, if you have a partner.
You've probably been through that.
You've probably been through that.
Least once.
And if you don't understand that, and depending on where you are in your life and what's going on, how that can be just stifling.
Pins and needles.
Just terror.
Yeah.
So if you don't understand that, then, live a little.
Live a little. Yeah. That was my big mama saying was, oh, honey, just keep on living. Just keep on living. But I really, outside of that, I really want to speak to the number of children that will be harmed by this. And I do mean children. Children that have been raped walking home from school, children who their brother sneak into their room, their father sneaks into their room. This, I believe people have convinced themselves that certain groups are just using those examples as like a scare tactic. I'm here to be your wake-up call and tell you, no, it's true. And you don't know disturbing until you have seen a pregnant 12-year-old. I mean, it's so, I don't even, and this child actually gave birth at 13, which I still can't really fathom. But just the trauma of all of it
would have to be endured.
Right. The person who is supposed to protect her did some of the most vile things and became her abuser. Then she separated from her siblings because now there's been abuse in the home, confirmed abuse in the home. And so, I mean, she was punished at every single turn, every single corner. And she was a child. What about her life? I guess is one of my questions. And just the irreversible damage that's going to come along with that. And then that gets into my opinion of, I need you guys really advocating for genuine help and assistance with mental health crisis, mental health, mental stability, because it's hard being a mom, like, period. It's hard being a mom when you have a spouse. It's hard being a mom when you have a support system. It's hard being a mom when you have a friend,
perfectly healthy baby.
Yes, who's been through it. And I mean, and I'm very blessed to have all those. I have a supportive spouse. Lisa has 4 kids. I tell Lisa nothing that shocks her. There's just nothing. I call her with stuff and I'm like, can you believe this? And she's like, oh, you just wait and see. I mean, like, I have so much support. Really, I do. Both of our parents are still living and on this earth. So we have help there. And it's still hard, y'all. I have still went in the bathroom and closed the door and just cried. Yeah. So to ask someone to do that when they're telling you, whoa, I'm not ready. Yeah. I'm not ready. All that I will say is, if you think society is quote unquote bad now, buckle up, buttercup, because you are going to have some children who have experienced trauma, the likes of which you cannot imagine, because they're being born to people who are telling us loud and clear, I'm not ready. I'm unable, whatever the case may be. Yeah. They're telling us and we're not listening.
Well, at the very least, I feel like even if you overturned just blanket abortions, I still think there should be provisions, for rape and incest and abuse.
Yes.
And these girls that are trafficked and all those.
Yes.
Provisions for women carrying unsustainable pregnancies.
Yes.
Of which that happens way more frequently than you know.
Yes.
Babies with extreme disease and deformities that are
and babies that will not
with life.
Yes.
They will not live.
And that's the sweetest way. Like,
the most compassionate, the most merciful way.
And when you say incompatible with life, yes, there are some miracle stories where the baby lives. I'm here to tell you that's not always the case. And
there are babies missing brains.
Yes.
You guys. They're
intestines
born missing,
or hearts form outside of the
or
body.
Or not form at all.
Yeah, or not form
at all. There's all kinds of things.
Yes.
And these women, they're going to be forced to give birth to these babies only to watch them die.
Yeah.
So,
and to prolong the suffering.
I just have a problem with that. And these women are going to need mental health care.
Oh my gosh.
Once again, we're not offering.
We're not offering. Yeah.
So this is where I want to see you pro-lifers.
And they will have to pay these medical bills.
I want to see you get busy. I want to see you focus on suicide prevention, which that's going to go up.
Oh, for sure.
The death penalty. If you're pro-life, no life.
That's right.
No life is irredeemable.
Right.
There's value in every life. So I want to see you on that. I want to see you fighting poverty. I want to see you fighting childhood hunger. We want to see you trying to stop gun violence.
Yes.
And police killings.
Let's buckle down on child pornography. Let's buckle
opioid
down.
Pandemic. Yes. There's some stuff we want to see you guys get on.
Right. And because all of those,
they tie in.
It all ties of those are directly associated. They're directly tied to life, life itself. And so there's no argument.
And we could take you seriously.
Yeah.
We could take, I could take you seriously. If I saw you advocating for those things, I would think that your heart is right.
But if you are fixated on abortion, but you're not fixated on protecting these exact same children in classrooms.
Listen to this, y'all. Just recently, since Roe v. Wade has been overturned, GOP senators silently blocked the Pump Act. You ask, what is the Pump Act? It's a bill that would have expanded pumping rights, for women that are nursing to
feeding the babies.
Right. To 9 million mothers because it was, and I quote, too burdensome on business. Now, this is...
I wish y'all could see my face.
This is during a formula shortage. Y'all. People cannot feed their babies. Feed their kids. Everybody can't nurse.
People are even driving out of state to get formula.
So that sense, these same pro-lifers and same wanting you to have the baby.
Right.
And by the way, FYI, the American Academy of Pediatrics tells women to nurse for 2 years. That is their recommendation.
Yes.
So in the midst of all this, no formula.
Right.
Doctors are saying 2 years is good.
Yeah.
They blocked the Pump Act, which would just, now I'm sure, and I'm going to tell y'all, I have not read the whole thing. If it changes, if I have a different opinion, I will come back and talk to y'all.
We're going to talk about it.
I'm imagining it's not a beautiful Ritz-Carlton suite that they're asking for.
Oh my gosh.
They're asking for a room that they can close a door.
Pumped in a bathroom.
That's all they're asking. It's not a big, thing. So lest you think that it's some grand thing. It's just privacy, a door, and the opportunity.
A socket.
Like I need a break to go do it. Yes. So
I literally was given an extension cord one time.
GOP, who they're behind this.
Yes.
Just FYI, they blocked it.
It is too burdensome
for business.
For business. Right.
Not for mothers. Not for the babies.
Right.
But for business. Because after all, and I am a small business owner and have been a small business owner.
For many years, yes.
And of course, you want your bottom line to be as profitable as possible, but
at what cost?
At what cost?
Yes.
This is just ridiculous. So when you vote, and I've been guilty of this, sometimes you vote along party lines. Now these issues have to take precedence.
Yes.
And I don't care what party you're on. If you're not, in favor of gun control, if you are not in favor of autonomy for women's bodies, women need to be able to decide their own futures.
Well, I mean, I just want to zero in on this as someone who I breastfeed. Okay. And I'm not a high and mighty, oh, look at all this milk. No, I am a squeezing the nipple, hoping there's enough type of, I'm not an overproducer. I'm not a high producer. They say it gets better with each pregnancy. I'll let y'all know in a few months. Hell, I don't know. But it was very difficult for me. I had to go to therapy. I had to go to counseling behind this. I had to see a lactation consultant. It was so very difficult for me to do this. Okay. And this was with all the support that I just mentioned, having all of this support everybody cheering me on, everyone helping me out. There was not a formula shortage. So we always had like a backup formula or two just in case, just to kind of take the edge off of me, because it's really, if you've never done it, I cannot explain how stressful it is. I mean, really, because it's
overwhelming.
It's
especially
overwhelming
for a first pregnancy.
For the first time.
Yeah.
But now the recommendation is 2 years. I just want you to just think about this. You're telling me life starts at conception, so you have to have the baby. So then I have a baby, and no matter where I live or what I'm making, there's no formula in sight, guys. There's not. By the way, every time I go to the store, I check just in case any of my kids that are in foster care or any of my other kids need some. I am like a mad woman grabbing it off the shelf. CPS does not reimburse me for this. This is just me buying it because these kids need it. I mean, need. They're not with their biological parents, so breastfeeding isn't an option to keep these kids alive, and they desperately need this formula.
And mind you, some special kids need
very
that have been in the
formula.
NICU or different ones. There's certain formulas that they need to survive. They can't just have any willy-nilly change the brand.
Right.
It's certain
ones,
different ones.
Otherwise,
they have to
they
have.
are very sick and they're back in the hospital.
Yes, just FYI.
So here I am. I'm trying to grab formula. Formula is nowhere in sight. So I have to have this baby. Formula is very expensive, and you can't even find it even if you have the money. And then now I am not being given any help on pumping. So how do I feed the very baby that you just told me I have
these same
to
senators?
Have? Right.
Yes.
Right.
These same folks.
This is the part you have to look at.
These folks that made this
because
rule.
This is the reality. What we're seeing, what they pander to us. They pander the really cute party girl with the Uma Thurman long legs and the rack like Tyra Banks. You know, I mean, they kind of pander like this sexy, irresponsible Barbie. And well, why does she get off the hook? Right. And that, but if you think about that, that's kind of what we get sold. Why do they get off the hook? That's not the reality. And what happened to compassion and sisterhood and I do want to say this, guys, what goes around comes around. There is a part of your life, baby. Everybody got a little closet. Some of us got big closets. Some of us got little closets, but you want that light off. You don't want any light shined on it. And what goes around comes around. One of Lisa's best sayings, y'all, you need to sweep around your own front porch. Worry about you. Yeah. Have you seen what it costs to adopt? And I'm here to tell you, you can email me, areyoufreeforcoffee@gmail.com. If you want to sign up and volunteer
for
CPS, to be a foster parent,
to adopt.
Yes,
Natasha's your hookup.
I literally, this is an open invitation, honey. This is an altar call. Bring it all up here.
Yes,
because it's a hard job, and there are many of you who I assure you could never do my job.
But you couldn't. But if you, in your heart, feel like you want to have a child.
Yeah.
You'd like to take one, please do.
Please do.
Reach out
genuinely.
To us. Because now, you guys, that's the other thing with this. Like Natasha said, child abuse cases are going to rise because of this tidal wave.
Yeah.
And the need for foster and adoptive parents. And not just, listen to me, not just for perfect white babies. But for older special needs kids, kids of color.
Yes.
So this is an altar call. If you're out there, you're listening, and you think, I could do something. Maybe you are pro-life. Mm-hmm. Be a part of the solution.
Yes.
So that would be a blessing and a help.
Yes. And we're talking children who are going to be born with severe physical and mental impairments because their parents did not have access to an abortion when the doctor or midwife had to give them that horrible news, which is, we don't see a heart, or we don't see, the intestines are outside of the body. You would be surprised. I did have, this was not through CPS, this was some years ago, parents, they gave their child up because they could not afford the medical bills. And they felt like their prayer was that the baby would go to someone who could afford the medical bills. and the wife took her own life, and it was followed by the husband.
Oh my goodness.
And they loved this child. Like, I mean, so much so that they said, well, maybe if because they knew if the child went into foster care,
there had been a safety net. See, this is where those things where you guys ask, why are they harping on affordable child care or universal health care or pre-K? These types of safety nets are the difference between you having a successful family and pregnancy and not.
Right. Having a good life.
Right. There's people that would say, you know, I'd have the baby if I could be sure that I'll have good child care.
Well, I have a job when I come back from maternity.
Right. A job, all these things, a living wage. Yeah. That once the baby gets here, I can support the baby.
When Lisa and I, around the time we met, we had known each other for a little bit. Around the time that we met one another, I was expecting my son. So this was a couple years ago. And, this is funny. So I was expecting my son. This is probably the only laugh you'll get this episode. And some kind of way, Lisa comes in. I'm at work, and Lisa's like, "Oh, congratulations on your baby or your pregnancy or something." And I was like, because I was really worried about this particular employer finding out and everything, and what the repercussions would be.
Mouth and foot. Foot and mouth. Sorry.
It was. Now I laugh at it, but here's the spoiler alert, guys.
That shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be.
Everybody should be. You know what I mean?
But the truth is, guys, I did lose the job. And I did end up losing the job behind the fact that I was expecting. And this was why I was trying to hide the fact that I was expecting, because I'm trying my best. Like, okay, maybe if I'm a really good worker and I do this and I do that and I save a little money, you know, they'll let me take like 3 weeks off when I have, like literally the bare minimum of bare minimum, because you're not even walking normal again at 2-3 weeks. And you and your bubbly nature, like, congratulations. And I'm like, and that's my whole point. Then you want me to have the baby, but there's nothing to protect my job to ensure that I can pay for said baby. And spoiler alert, guys, that was before, it was probably November. By January, I lost that job. And from December through January, my stress levels were through the roof. My blood pressure was going up. There were definitely some pretty serious issues with the employer and being targeted. And this is what women face. This is not, I want you to know, this is not uncommon. This is not an uncommon thing. I remember at that time, like, going online and Googling, and I was just so sad because everybody was going through this.
Which it's illegal.
But
they still do it.
But they still, I just want to prove to you in modern time, this isn't a story from when Lisa was pregnant. This is a story from me.
It's supposed to matter.
Right.
It's not supposed to
matter.
But it does.
Yeah.
So these are the types of things.
So you're worried about pumping. You're worried about
all of these things. Healthcare. You're worried about
what happens with postpartum depression, which, by the way, guys, been there too. You have no control over that. I mean, really,
that should be part of the universal health care.
That should be part of universal
health. If you need counseling, if you need medication.
Right. You're worried about all of this. Yeah.
So, living wage, housing costs have skyrocketed. So there needs to be some help with that. So these are all the things that we want. We're not saying you're wrong. These things need to be addressed anyway.
Yes.
And let's make it where...
Well, if you're pro-life, this is part of their life.
I think that the argument would be way less if these things were happening.
Absolutely.
Way
because
less.
Otherwise, you're just pro-birth.
Right.
You're pro-birth. Let's have the baby and then
help these people.
Right.
But the other stat I wanted to give you is that the number one cause of death for pregnant women is homicide.
Yep.
So that's the other thing. Partners get angry.
Yes.
Sometimes that you're pregnant. You know, how did you get pregnant? Why did you get all these things?
like they weren't there.
Right. So this stat will rise.
Right.
You know, along with partner abuse, domestic violence, all of those will be bigger issues than they are now.
Yes.
So I guess we just wanted to talk to y'all And we have a diverse audience, I think, that have just different opinions and that's totally fine. We just want to get everybody behind these things.
Yeah. And I think sometimes people don't think about it. Sometimes you look at it from your perspective and you're only seeing it from your perspective. And I guess my hope is you hear this conversation, you know, you all like us, you come have coffee with us every week, which we appreciate. And we love you guys. And I think my biggest hope is, oh, I never thought about that. Or, oh my gosh, I didn't know that was the leading cause of death. Because really, and I just want to say this, if the leading cause of death for pregnant women is homicide, then the leading cause of death for unborn babies is also homicide. Hello.
Right.
The baby would die along with the mom, guys. Yeah. Think about this. Yeah. They would die along with the mom. Yeah. And
if that was.
And I have seen women who are terrified for their partner, for their spouse to find out that they are expecting. And I'm thinking,
don't come around me, right? I've been in.
Lisa's gonna be like, congratulations.
Oh my gosh.
It was so, I mean, in hindsight, it's so funny.
It's so funny, but we're glad to be
past that. Yes. But really, I want you to think about this because there are so many numbers that go around and they really magnify and shed a lot of light on there's this many abortions, but the leading cause of death is homicide. That means that because she became impregnated, this woman lost her life. So this isn't just one life lost. This is the woman and the baby, or, you know, if there's multiples, but for in every
and what
case,
about the other children? They lose parents.
They lose parents.
Lose both.
Yes.
I mean, if he's the father of the others, I mean, they will have lost both parents because he's going to jail.
Yeah. And we've talked about this before as Black women who, fun fact, guys, even though it's been many years apart, Lisa and I share a midwife, which we didn't find out until this time, which is really, really cool. But we share a midwife. And it's like, what are the chances? And this woman has birthed literally thousands of babies. And it's kind of cool that she's birthed one of Lisa's babies and she's birthed, this will be my last. So she birthed your last baby, one. And then she's birthed all three. She's been there for
Ken's book club.
Yes. Yeah. Your favorite Kennedy, quote unquote, Whitney. That was so funny. But, you know, I think about how educated we had to be and everything you had to learn throughout having children because of how high the rates of mortality are for Black women.
Yes.
So I know Black women.
Dangers.
I know Black women who, because of blood pressure, because, you know, hypertension, just diabetes, different things that they have no control over, they realize that their chances of surviving pregnancy is so low. So this isn't a like, oh, I went out and had fun and I'm using this as birth control. This is life altering all around. This is life altering all around. I thought you had numbers for we always talk stats, y'all. Like we're this.
That's my jam. I hate numbers, anything else, but I do like stats.
But Lisa loves stats, and you had stats for what population has the most abortions. I can't remember now, but you had stats because you were crunk about it. You told me
it was. I don't have it in front of me, but it was the mortality rate. Like per 100,000 births, I think it was 20. There was 27 in the United States, and the next closest one was 8. And I want to say it was Sweden. I'm thinking
you did mention Sweden,
Switzerland,
so maybe
something like that. Okay, and then it went down from there. So we are number one in terms of, maternal
dying,
and that was not just Black. That was just everybody.
Overall,
in terms of maternal mortality,
yes.
we are number one.
Yes,
and
let that say
in the whole world.
Yes,
we have that record. That's not a record to have.
So that's not And you want to be in last place,
right? And it's going to get worse now. Yeah. So we're just saying we are pro-choice, but that's our opinion, and you are
more than welcome to yours.
Yeah. We're just saying something that I think both sides could get behind are these issues.
Yes.
So let's get busy.
Yes.
And you pro-lifers, I really want to see you get busy.
And I want you to hold them accountable. This. Hey, if we are pro-life, let's talking from conception based on your views, from conception into adulthood.
Yes.
At the very least 18. Yes. At the very, very least 18. So are we going to do our guys this week?
Yes, we are. Sexiest man alive this week. My guy is going to be Seth Meyers. And
where did this come from?
He's a late night talk show host. But reason I love him, he does a lot of social commentary and political things. And he's funny, but he's smart. And he's a cutie. He's a little young for me.
You're going to make me change
once again.
I'm going to change mine.
But he is cute, and he's had lots to say. So I just like him. Enjoy his.
I'm going to change mine on you.
Okay.
Even though I had my pick, and I'm just going to use him next, but I'm going to go with Trevor Noah.
Oh gosh, yes.
And I just want y'all to know this. This is very funny. And if you are not pretty immersed in the Black community, this may be a joke that goes right over your head, but I am fair skinned and I don't roll up on nobody else with fair skin. Okay. I like them chocolate. I want my coffee as black as possible. Give me some French roast. I want tall, black, and handsome. Okay. I like them. The darker, the better. But Trevor,
the darker the berry, the sweeter the juice.
The sweeter the juice, girl. But Trevor Noah, that little saltine
cracker, he is so cute.
He's
funny.
He's so funny. And he says what I'm thinking pretty often.
He does.
And some of his comments surrounding this, he has to do it with an air of comedy because that's his job. That's his job, is to have a little air.
He's got to make you laugh.
He has to make you laugh while you're thinking.
That's a good.
But some of the stuff he said, I'm like, yeah, you're right. True that. So mine is Trevor Noah. And look, I don't think I've done him before.
No.
Look at me. I'm proud of myself.
They're both kind of similar.
Yeah, they are. I didn't. When you said that, I was like, oh, I didn't know she was going this direction.
In their commentary. And in what they do for a living.
Yes.
So, yeah.
They're both handsome.
Cute. Both cute.
Yes,
we
love
their little comic edge.
Yes.
To their commentary. Which it makes the medicine go down a little better when you're laughing.
A teaspoon of sugar helps the medicine go down. Okay, loves. Thank you for pulling up a chair and joining us for coffee. Please subscribe to Are You Free for Coffee podcast wherever you are listening. We hope that you enjoyed today's episode and find joy in the little things. Until next time.
Part of the Boundless Audio Podcast Network.